Hey guys, here at Big Stone Gap wood carving show. Mr. Neil Southerland, you guys have met on the other video, have brought this piece today, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. And he has also entered some pieces in the wood carving competition and did very well. So congratulations!
Well, thank
on
you.
that.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you, sir.
You talk about a great carver. This young man can really do it.
I appreciate that, Neil. We're going to talk about this piece, and this was a solid block of wood.
Yes, yes.
And,
This was done in Pennsylvania a couple of weeks ago at Jim Heiser. He invited me up. He said he had an opening, and this is done with Chris Hammock, and he what he does, you sit down with him and tell him what you'd like. You know, I wanted a cowboy on a horse, a complete one-piece cowboy on a horse, and so he drew it up on a piece of paper, took the notebook paper into the bandsaw room, cut it out on a block of wood, one big giant piece of wood, about 4 inches thick.
That's a big piece of wood.
Yeah. Now the base is separate, of course. I mounted it there to keep the horse from falling down. But then Chris will sit with you, because whenever he designs something and you're cutting it out from your thoughts, it's a little different. And so some of the features is the fact that he's turned sideways.
Yeah.
That makes it a little difficult. And that's what I wanted to learn, an angled piece. And Chris will lay out a few cuts for you. Then he'll go to the next guy in the class and help him. So the time he gets around to you, hopefully you've got a section or two carved. Like, main thing I was worried about was getting this arm. That was a feature that he knew which way you had to go with it, so it would line up with the other shoulder and the other arm.
Okay.
You know, you have to think about stuff. That's what you learn.
Anatomy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You learn that in the design classes, and that's what's so neat. So Chris would carve a little bit, and he'd say, okay, take off this big chunk of wood, you know, between the hat and the arm. And that's the stuff you learn, and that's where you learn how much to take off and what not to take off. And that's where your tools come in, like gouges and knives. You learn a little bit more detail with your gouges and stuff. I loved it. So he'd carve like the leg, and he'd block out this leg and say, okay, go carve all that. And then he would talk through you different steps of the way, give you ideas. Sometimes you look for something that you want to carve, but maybe the wood wouldn't cooperate. So it helps you make changes on the fly.
Okay.
So you kind of learn with the wood.
This is all hand tools, no power?
No, all hand tools, other than the bandsaw for cutting it out.
Okay.
And then he'll come back and he laid out the head, he blocked it in, he'd carve an eye, you'd carve an eye. Almost like you do in his rough out class. But there was no features there to begin with, other than the bandsaw cut.
Just went from where he sketched out on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Cut it out, then blocked it out with hand tools.
Yeah.
And then went from there.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to learn.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you go from a piece of wood, and it's always hard to do that, but I don't know, if you've never done it from a big block of wood like that.
It's difficult.
Going in at the right angle.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
And I tell you, that's when you really learn how to carve, when you do your own pieces.
Did you paint that at the same
No,
time?
not at the same time. I think I pretty much finished it at the end. I didn't think so. At the beginning of the week, I thought, I'll never get that done. It'll take me a month.
Yeah.
Well, I actually got it pretty much finished,
Okay.
except for the paint and the reins. Now, the reins on this, Jim Heiser had a great idea with one he had carved. And this is a piece of copper wire, stamped, hammered it.
Yeah, and flattened it out.
Flattened it out,
Okay.
painted it a real dark brown, like a raw umber.
Wow.
And it looks just like leather.
Yeah, I thought it was a thin piece of leather when I saw it.
And then this is my typical paint technique I like. And then on top of this, I use that Chris and I think Rich Weatherby came up with this antiquing. It's aged oak gel and a little bit of thinner.
Okay.
And I use that.
Chris likes to do the gel stuff a lot.
And that works pretty good. But you better make sure you got your carving sealed real good. Otherwise, it'll completely wipe out your flesh or your whites.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, is this acrylic? It's not oil paint, it's acrylic, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it's all acrylic. And I'll tell you what, if you're ever around Chris and get a chance to take that, it's well worth it.
When is it?
Well, the one up there is usually in August, and I think Jim's going to move it up closer to the 1st of August. Right now it's toward the end of August. So, but yeah, Chris, anytime he's in the States now, I don't think he's going to come to the Renegade.
Okay.
Weren't you at the Renegade with him
Yes.
last time? Okay.
Yes, in spring.
But
Yeah, Chris is a fantastic instructor. He lives in New Mexico.
in Mexico.
Mexico. Okay.
Mexico,
Gotcha.
on the island.
Guys, that's right.
He does a class down there too, but I've not been able to go.
Yeah,
But
that'd be
that's
fun
why
to go to.
if you're up here in the States, I think it's
better get with Chris while you can.
A lot cheaper.
Yeah, a good deal. And that happens like once a year.
No, I think he's got some other classes coming up. I think he's got one somewhere in Mississippi, if I'm not, somewhere about the same time as the Renegade.
Okay. Okay.
And he was talking about that too. He said he didn't mean to schedule it at the same time. It just happened to be that way. But I think that's all he's going to do now. No more Renegades and stuff like that. Just a design class.
Design class. Wow.
Now Jim's is for 2 weeks, so
Okay.
you can work out Jim Heiser. Contact him. He's the one that sets it up.
Okay.
But you ought to try to go.
Yeah, I would love to go. That'd
You
be
know,
fun.
sell some of your carvers.
Yes, I can afford to go. That's right. Good deal. Well, Neil, thank you so much for talking to us. Amazing piece, as you can see. Y'all stay tuned for more videos. And again, it's good to see you.
You too,
So,
Jonathan, buddy.
thanks again.
Always good to see you, buddy.
Thanks, man.